Hi guys, so we're going to be looking at how to compare decimals and how to order decimals as we've been working on in class. Now you've seen a video on it by now and you did a little bit of practice, but I want to make sure to clarify the process of how to do this. Okay, so let's say that you're given two decimals, and for example, I'm going to give you these two. We've got 4 and 563 thousandths. And we have 4 and 536 thousandths. And we want to compare them, which means we want to find out which one is bigger or if they're the same. So we have our symbols that we need to use, our less than, our equal to, and our greater than symbols. And remember, just as a hint, the crocodile always eats the bigger number. When you're doing problems like this, the easiest way to be able to identify which one is bigger is to stack the numbers. Now, when you're stacking them, you want to line the decimals up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the first number first on top. And the second number, I want that decimal to be right below the first one. So I'm going to fill in my numbers around it. I have a 4 before it, and I have 536 right after it. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is just like in reading, we move from left to right. So we're going to read the decimal from left to right as well. And we start with the first number. Now, if you look, these numbers are perfectly lined up, and both of these 4s are in the ones place. So we start there. And I check, are these numbers different or the same? They're the same. What that means is I have to go one space over to see if that will help me figure out which one's bigger. So I move over one. Now I'm to the right of the decimal, and this is the tenths space. Remember, anything after the decimal has that THS ending. Tenths. And I look at the two numbers and think, is one of them bigger? No, they're the same. That means I have to keep going. If I move over one more space, now I'm in the hundredth space. That's 2 spots after the decimal. Hundredths. And if I look now, my numbers are different. I have a 6 and I have a 3. So all I have to decide is which one is bigger. And I know that the 6 would be the bigger number. Because the 6 is bigger than the 3, that means the top number is bigger than the bottom. I don't even need to look at the next two numbers because we know in place value that the bigger number, the biggest place value is to the left. Okay? So I can find that this one is bigger. Crocodile eats the bigger number. So we would say 4 and 563 thousandths is greater than 4 and 536 thousandths. Let's try another one, except this time I'm going to mix it up on you. Okay? I'm going to give you a number that has different places. For example, what if I gave you this? Let's do 23 and 7 tenths. And then what if I gave you 2 and 37 hundredths? Now you might look at these two and decide, oh, those are the same, and put an equal sign. But are they really the same? No, they're not. That's because, and you know this because the decimal is in a different spot in both numbers. So these numbers are actually not the same, even though the digits are the same and in the same order. The decimal's in a different place. Okay, so we're going to follow our steps. Step 1. I need to stack them. So I start with my first one. 23 and 7 hundredths. There we go. And then remember, when I'm stacking, I need to stack it so that the decimals are lined up. So I'm actually going to put my decimal right under the first one, and I have to fill in my numbers the same way. Now, if you notice, before the decimal, there's only one number. And so I'm going to put that number right here. And if I look after the decimal, it has 2 numbers, which is different from the first. That's okay. It's okay for the numbers to not be lined up perfectly. If you notice, there's a space here and a space here. Now, if you really want to help yourself out and you want to fill in those spaces, you can. And what number would you fill in those spaces with? Because nothing is there, you could put you're right, a 0. If that will help you. Okay? Then we follow the steps again. We read from left to right, And I have to compare my numbers from left to right as well. So I'm going to cover up everything and just look at the first two. And would you look at that? Already, I have two different numbers, right? I have a 2 and a 0. So I think which one's bigger? The 2 is bigger. I don't have to keep going. I already found the number that is bigger here. That means this top number is bigger, which means this first number is bigger. So again, the crocodile eats the bigger number. 23 and 7 tenths is greater than 2 and 37 hundredths. Okay? Now I'm going to give you one last problem. What if I were to give you these two decimals? What if I were to give you, let's do 5 and 73 hundredths. And what if I gave you 5 and 730 thousandths? Okay. Now these numbers are very similar. There is one little difference. So let's see if you can figure out if these numbers, which one is greater if they're the same. Step 1, stack them. And what do I have to do when I stack them? Yep, the decimal has to be lined up. So I'm going to put my decimal right here. The 5 is before the decimal. After it is 730. And I'm going to line up my numbers perfectly. Okay? And if you'll notice, they're not perfectly lined up because there's a number missing up here, which is okay, right? Just like here. What did we do when there was a missing number? We filled it in with a 0. Absolutely. Now when you look at these, you can tell that they're actually the exact same number. And I can go from left to right to double check it. I've got a 5 and a 5. Those are the same, so what do? Keep going. 7 and a 7. Those are the same. Keep going. A 3 and a 3. Again, they're the same, so we keep going. And if you look, I've got a 0 and a 0. Those are the same. If all of the digits are the same when they're lined up, that means these numbers are, what do you think? Yep, you're absolutely right. They are equal. Okay, I hope this helps you on your homework tonight. Thanks, guys.